Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tic Tac Taiko. My last stretching video was pretty well received, so I thought I would do another one today. Let's take a look. For the stretches, I'm going to use pretty much the same format I used last time. I'm going to talk about shoulders, down to the fingers, and everything in between. I did about a dozen last time. I'm going to do about a dozen this time. But before I start, the disclaimer. All stretches on Tic Tac Taiko are for demonstration purposes only. If you feel any discomfort during a stretch, gently stop. If you feel any pain during a stretch, stop immediately. My body is accustomed to the stretches that I do, and my flexibility is not your flexibility. Please proceed with caution. We'll start today's series with tricep stretches. Now, triceps are back here. They're often overlooked, but they're really important for good taiko playing. And just like I have here, you're going to bend at the elbow, and you're going to press that elbow over that same side shoulder. But be careful that you don't hit yourself in the head when you do it. You're going to need to give yourself some clearance. So you can tilt the head down a little bit, not too much, and press back. Something that will help is to open the arm up, the forearm in the back, up against the back of your head, and you create a nice brace. Make sure that the arm isn't pushing your head down. You don't want your chin near your chest. And you're not trying to get the head to press back. Think of opening the spine, which is connected to the neck, which is connected to the head. This is good posture, and it makes the brace nice and solid. But you still have the other hand, which can really help get that stretch. In fact, I feel like the hand is really doing the stretching, but the brace helps me from having to use a lot of muscle in the other shoulder. All right, go ahead and stretch that out if you need to, and then make sure you're doing the same on the other side. For all of these stretches, if something isn't doing a simultaneous stretch, you want to make sure you're getting both the right and the left side. And also, don't forget to breathe. Never hold your breath during a stretch. Make sure you're breathing in and breathing out during. Next, we're going to stretch the shoulder. So put your fist into your side, then reach across and pull the elbow over. Do this slowly. I call this closing the door, but you don't want to slam the door shut. Most of you haven't done this stretch before, and all of a sudden you'll feel like, oh, that's my limit. So do it slow so that you don't go past your limit by accident. Now, as I rotate, my fist is rotating, that's fine. I'm just keeping this as a base. It's going to roll over the pinky side. That's fine. You're really just focusing on the stretch that's happening up here. I find that my right side doesn't come over as much as my left side. My left side comes over way further. Not sure why. There we go. The last shoulder stretch for today is definitely one of the more difficult ones. It's not something that everyone can do, and even I struggle with it, but it's a really good stretch. So, clasp your hands together and imagine your thumbs were guiding you in and out. But as you do this, as much as you can, try to keep your palms from opening up. They're going to open up, but you want to try to keep them from doing that. Okay? So, keep them, and now as I extend my arms in that same direction, that's about as far as I can get. Once I get further than that, my hands just separate, but I'm trying to keep my palms together, and that's my limit. I can really feel it in my shoulder, and I can really feel my fingers gripping for dear life, but it's a really good stretch up here. If this is your first time doing something like this, go slow. If you find you can't get too far, that's okay. You can still play with torque and pressure and get a stretch of some sort up here. Now we're moving down to the forearms. We're going to go from that really difficult stretch to a much, much easier stretch. You want both thumbs down, and you're going to clasp your hands. Doesn't matter which one's first. Then from here, up and over. Okay, so from here, if my thumbs are extended, and they're not, but if they were, if I follow my thumbs, up and over, and I'm extending again, my arms are fully extended. I can feel it in my wrist, but I'm also getting a good stretch in my forearms. And you can play with the height, and it'll start to work the shoulders a little bit. And then when you're done, you want to unclasp and reclasp the other side, the same thing. You can adjust You can change angles. You can see what works and how it feels at different positions. Then relax. Hey kids, guess what time it is? It's time for me to interrupt my own video and say if you like what you're watching, let me know with a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't feel bad, it's okay. You can redeem yourself by hitting that subscribe button that's down in the bottom corner or at the end of the video where you see my logo. All right, enough silliness. Let's get back to stretching. Now we're down at the wrists already. So for the next 2 stretches, you're going to have a praying position with your hands. Once your hands start to separate, you've gone too far. Only go as far as your hands can go without separating. That will give you the stretch. So in front of my body, I'm going opposite of the fingers, and that's it for me. I can really feel this in the wrist and the back of my hands. All right, now the other version is to come up. This one, you're gonna feel like it's coming in towards you and may even come up against your chest, that's okay. But same thing, once your hands want to separate, that's the limit of your stretch. All right, nice and relaxed. Next, imagine when your hands are together that there's a pin in between and you're pivoting on that pin right in the center. So I'm going to pivot, doesn't matter which side is first, but whichever hand did not move, that's the side that's going to press. So my left hand, my right hand. My left hand stays, my right hand rotates, my left hand didn't move, so it's pressing the fingers of the right hand. And when I press all the fingers, I'm going to feel it in my hand and wrist. The thumb's loose, that's okay, the thumb's a little bit of a rogue. And switch. Now my left is rotating, which means my right is pressing in. And I'm kind of switching between pressing just the fingers and pressing the hand as well. Again, none of these are static positions that shouldn't be changed. Your body is different from my body, your flexibility is your flexibility. So experiment, see what angles work and what positions work better than others. All right, the last one, you've all seen this. I've done this on camera before. I'm sure you've done it before, at least once in your life. So you're gonna do the outward finger stretch, but you're gonna pick one of your elbows and you're gonna move it down so that you have this position. And then you're gonna focus on the wrists and the hands, sort of thinking of a small circle here and continue rotating in that direction. So I feel like my bottom hand is actually doing most of the work, but I'm feeling it from here all the way down on the back of the hand and the wrist. And then switch. My right side, I'm actually feeling it up here too, which means I'm in dire need of some more stretching. There we go. And our final section deals with the fingers and the thumbs. I find that these are even more overlooked than the tricep muscles like I talked about in the beginning. Think about it. When was the last time you spent a few minutes stretching your fingers or thumbs before a practice or a performance, right? So we're going to start. One hand, palm down. The other palm is going to stretch the index finger up and back, but don't worry about how far it goes. If it doesn't go that far, if it goes really far, that's fine, but you're keeping this palm down. You're isolating the fingers. And you're going to work down towards the pinky. But as you do this, do it slowly. The fingers don't have a lot of musculature compared to the arms and the shoulders. There's a lot less margin for error. You don't want to sprain or strain anything. So take careful note of what your body is telling you. And especially with the pinky, be real careful and listen to what your hands and fingers are telling you. Now, the alternative version is I start with my palm down, but I'm going to let the palm move, and it's going to come all the way with the finger until everything is at maximum stretch. I can't move my palm back anymore. My finger does not want to move back anymore. And this is just a variation of the first stretch we did. But with the palm involved, you're going to get different stretches here in the wrist, back of the hand, even the back of the finger. But again, be careful. It's not about how far you can go. It's are you doing a good stretch without hurting yourself? And I'll continue. I'll do this one slightly quicker, but take your time, keep breathing, and don't hold stress. All right, shake that out afterwards. And finally, the last two stretches for today are on the thumbs. So the first thumb stretch is trying to get the thumb into the forearm. You're going to press and squeeze. You're going to try to get your other fingers and thumbs together with these in the middle. Now you may not be able to get that far in, that's fine. If you can get all the way in, make it a really good squeeze. And you can experiment again, maybe rotating it, change the extension of your arm, but be careful. It's really easy to reach forward and realize, oh, I just tore my thumb off. Don't do that. Be real careful. Your thumb and your fingers, they're all very delicate instruments, and you need those delicate instruments to play taiko. Shake that out. And the last stretch is to take the thumb going straight into the forearm, this way. So you're following the angle of the arm. It's not going to go that far. And that's about as far as I can go by pressing. So I'm going to use my whole arm. I'm using the weight and the elbow. And I'm getting somewhat of a stretch here, but I'm really feeling it here. This is one of the few stretches that works the webbing and this part of the palm. It's a really nice stretch. It's not about how deep you can go. It's about stretching your arm by stretching your thumb. There we go. And shake that out. And if you've been holding your breath, let it out. Between today's video and the last stretching video, you've got about 24 stretches that you can use from the forearms down to the fingertips. And that seems like a lot, but I gotta tell you, there's a whole lot of other stretches that I haven't even thought about, let alone have the time to put into a video. As long as you're stretching, that's the point. These are the stretches that I find either really useful or that I've come up with and find really useful. I'll be doing more stretching videos here and there. There's lots of stuff about the upper body, the midsection, the legs. I'll be releasing them over time. But the most important things to remember, number one, listen to your body. If it says, ow, stop. Number two, breathe. Don't hold your breath when you stretch. And number three, come back next week, because next week I've got a very special video. So, until next time, keep stretching and be well.